So here we are, back doing Marvel Legends. Not solely relegated to 2-packs anymore. We get a full-on wave. I couldn't be happier. And we're starting this off with figure number 1 from the collection. If you can, Steve Rogers. If you can take a look at the back here and see all the nice box art. They've really opted to push the art instead of having a text-heavy packaging here. You just get a brief little blurb about Steve Rogers. Of course, if you're a big comic fan, you really don't need a long history about the character. You know, of course, you see the Build-A-Figure, Terrax, and other figures in the wave. And there are a few variants in this wave. And I purchased these things online, the whole wave online from Big Bad Toy Store. And I actually managed to get all the variant figures for this first wave. Some of which I preferred and some of which I didn't. But we're going to talk about this one, which is a variant. Now I believe he's got a slightly darker tone to his uniform here. It's the other version, or the regular version, is a lot bluer, I guess. This is a little bit more black on the black side. And he's got, for me, a correct shield, and I'll go into that later. He does come with 2 of these guns. I've misplaced the other one. I don't know where it is when I took it out of package. It's floating around here somewhere, but I'll find it. But they are exactly the same. You can see they got kind of this laser sight on the bottom. And both hands are molded to hold them and fit his finger through the trigger guard. I'd just like to add on how kind of odd for me it is to see Cap with a gun. Now, I'm not opposed to him using guns with bullets, but to me, that's always like a weapon of last resort. You know, there are 10 better ways to fight somebody than with a gun. So, me personally, I like to imagine that these are kind of like how they did in Alias. I imagine that these are actually filled with some sort of tranq round. So he's not really trying to put a cap in somebody's ass. Pun intended. And, of course, the main part, and why I think this is the better figure, more accurate figure for this character, is he's got this see-through, clear plastic shield, and it's very nice. All the star and the circles are all sculpted into the design. So that's kind of neat. They could have just done a flat disc and painted that on, but it's actually molded, so that's a lot better. And why does he have this clear see-through shield? Because when he returns from his death, of course, Bucky is still Captain America. So Bucky retains his shield that he used throughout the 40s as Captain America and up until his death. So he uses one of his replacement shields, which is a photonic shield, basically a force field shield. And so he digs that out and uses that as his shield, not wanting to take the Captain America shield away from Bucky Barnes, who is now Captain America. So that is a little bit more accurate than the regular figure, who has sort of a solid shield instead. The sculpting is very nice on this guy. I like the head. A lot of people have been complaining about, oh, it looks older. I don't think it does. I mean, it definitely looks serious, and it's just the expression on his face. He's kind of in this, not quite a scowl, but it is a nice kind of glare. You can tell he's not happy about something, and but yeah, really nice detailing on the hair. The paint is very nice. I like all the detailing that they had on the belt here, on these little pieces down here. Now that I look at them, they're kind of reminiscent of the early World War II, pre-World War II, early World War II Army get-up of. They used to call them doughboys. I forget what the term is for these little things. They're maybe spats or something. Another complaint is that the head looks small on the body, and I can kind of see it, but I think that's really due to the fact that his shoulders are kind of small. And so when you look at the shoulders here compared to the biceps, I mean, he's got a huge bicep there, and his shoulder is kind of scrawny compared to that. And so when you go up to the neckline, his head tends to look a little bit bigger because the shoulders aren't quite so broad. So, I really don't have too much of a problem with it. I don't have... The only problem I have with this design of this character is these straps here and on the back here. They kind of just do nothing, and they're there to look kind of strappy and utilitarian, but I mean, are these supposed to be where he hangs his guns or what? Or I just don't understand why they're there. But that's the design. Now, like I said, the paint is very good. I mean, even down to the paint on the shield here, which I guess is painted both blue and red. It's very clean. I think having the sculpted shield helped do that. Great, like I said, great paint on the hair. The only real mess up on the paint that I can find is by the shoulders, which also a lot of people have complained about, is that these bands don't go all the way across because of the articulation point there. There should be stars here, and I believe the Marvel Universe figure has the stars. So this guy here, which is the Marvel Universe version of the character, I think is just as good as this one. And for such a small figure, and considering how the Marvel Universe started out, that is saying a lot. as you can see, this guy is a little bit bluer. So if you get the regular version, I think it would more reflect this kind of a blue. So for articulation here, of course his head goes left and right, up and down, and it's kind of on this joint that does move forward and back a little bit, so you get that extra little kind of movement here with the head. And he can look way down and way up. Very nice head articulation. Very good. Something with most of the figures are like that. Arms all the way around, out, in, biceps, double joints at the elbows, rotates at the forearm because the shield has to be clipped on. That's a little disappointing because maybe some wrist action in and out maybe could have been used here. Goes forward and back with the ab crunch here very nicely. Waist articulation. Legs go forward and back. He rotates at the thigh, upper thigh there. Has a good double knee joint, and his feet go forward and back and rotate some. He's pretty good in terms of articulation. I think the only thing I would have added is the ankle pivot here, which I think they are bringing that back in the next wave. Most of the figures will have that after wave 2. And so, very eager to see that. So, of course, Captain America died in 2007 and returned later. He died and returned in between 2006, 2007, 2008, around there. I don't remember quite when, but throughout those kind of 2.5 years, he then came back and he didn't want to resume the role or take the role of Captain America from Bucky, who had taken over as Cap during his death. So he decided to become the just known as, well, he didn't really pick it as a code name, but the first series that he was in after coming back was called Super Soldier, Steve Rogers Super Soldier, and so kind of stuck with that, and he chose this suit. It is very reminiscent of the Patriot's suit, at least in the chest area. He doesn't have the mask. I'm talking the old Patriot from What If, not the Patriot from the Young Avengers. So, I mean, this figure is kind of outdated right now because he's again back to being Captain America, and he's resumed being Captain America after Bucky died in Fear Itself. Of course, Bucky didn't really die. Now he's back in his own series as the Winter Soldier. So Steve is now Captain America, and Bucky's now back to being the Winter Soldier, and only Steve, Nick Fury, Black Widow know that Bucky survived. The shield, his actual shield, was destroyed and eventually reforged by Iron Man, but I guess he added some of the mystical metal Uru, the stuff that Thor's hammer is made out of, and so now the original shield is stronger than ever, plus it has these anti-mystical capabilities, I guess. I don't know. that all happened at the end of Fear itself, which I did not read. So I guess a little update on Captain America, Steve Rogers. Great figure. If you find this guy in either incarnation, I would recommend picking him up. I'd recommend picking up all these guys. Stay tuned, and until my next video, which will be on Hope Summers, I'll see ya.